Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for November 24th. Let's take a look at the US-Japanese yen pair. I'm expecting this pair to move as high as 98.14 and on the lower side 93.91. Now look for some resistance to come into this market around 97.67 and support around 96.43, and we're quickly headed down to that point. The market is, did close higher today. I believe it's moving sideways. The bias is sideways at this point. Now let's switch over to the EURUSD pair. This particular pair, as you can tell by this blue dot, has an overextended bar. Unfortunately, obviously this closed on the high, so you can't really trade that particular signal. Looking at the range, I'm expecting this pair to move as high as 1.3047 and as low as 1.2441 on the very low side. That's probably unrealistic. Look more for resistance to be coming into the market around 1.3 and support around 129.12. Now looking at this pair is also moving sideways for the most part. It has surged higher, but it is still moving sideways when you look at the overall trend over the past several sessions, several weeks actually, past 2 weeks or so. Let's take a look at the pound US dollar pair. This pair did similar to the euro. It surged higher. I am expecting it to move as high as 153.05 and as low as 146.63. Look for some resistance to come into this market around 152.50 and look for support to come into this market around 151.100. This pair is also moving sideways currently. Now let's take a look at the US Swiss. We do have a overextended bar here. The difference in the pips there is about 17 pips. The market has already pushed down within 1 pip of the low. Don't know if it will retrace and move back below the close or not. If it does, you can look to go short and take a quick profit there. However, I am looking for this pair to move as high as 123.12 and as low as 118.48. Now look for some resistance around 119.82 and look for support to come into this market around 118.65 if it does move that low. Now for those of you that caught this break and went short on the break of that, you made several hundreds of pips, at least 100 pips within that move. That was a pretty good move during today's session. Now taking a look at what we had talked about yesterday as far as inside bars, we have we had an inside bar that was formed. Friday was the inside bar. If you took the break, and we talked about several of these, I'm going to zip through them real quick, but if you take a look at previous resistance and where that is in the market, and you took out that chunk right there, your profit, and you used a 1-to-1 ratio, your profit would have been 77 pips for that particular trade. Now, we did look at the Australian US dollar pair. This pair, Friday session, was an inside bar. We had a breakout of that. If you again look at where we had previous resistance and took that chunk out, you would have made a profit of 105 pips for that particular trade. Looking at the Euro-Japanese yen pair, this particular pair surged higher, closed higher. I mean, that's an amazing run during the day. It also had an inside bar that we were looking for from Friday breakout. However, if you would have taken this trade, that would have ended in a loss of around 124 pips. Now, switching down to the pound Japanese yen pair, this pair broke out also. If you took this small area out, you would have profited 112 21 pips for that move. And we are using, assuming a 1-to-1 ratio as far as your stop loss to take profit. And we had one more that we looked at, the New Zealand US dollar pair. Look for a break here or here on the downside, and look for it to come back up to this point. Did not reach that point. However, if you would have exited at the close, that would have been a profit of 55 pips. Total for those six trades. We did have one other one that did not hit, essentially. We had an inside bar on the Euro Australian dollar that we were looking at. Was formed there. We have the inside bar, and we were looking for a break. That did not occur. But out of those 6 trades, we had 5 that were triggered or traded, and then we had a total of 4 of those being profitable and 1 loss that had a total of 234 gross pips for those 5 trades. So it's not too bad. That just shows you the power of the inside bars. I know some of y'all don't watch them as closely as I do, but there's the kind of the proof in the pudding as to why you should. Well, switching over to the news announcements, the Eurozone had their current account balance for September released today, and it dropped from negative 5.3 billion to negative 10.6 billion. Pretty good hit for the euro, although it didn't seem to affect the currency today. We also have, looking forward, we have the Swiss releasing their consumption indicator for October. That's going to be released at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. No consensus currently. Last month it was at 1.669, so you may want to take a look at that news announcement. We also have the Canadian dollar releasing their retail sales for September. That's being released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The consensus is that it has gone up from negative 0.3% up to 0.4%. So that's good news for the Canadian dollar if it does come out at 0.4 or higher. The U.S. has their GDP for the third quarter being released tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. And the consensus is that it has dropped from negative 0.3% down to negative 0.5%. So that could be more negative news for the U.S. dollar come tomorrow. And right after that at 10 a.m. we have the U.S. Consumer Confidence Report being released for November. And currently the consensus is that it's going to hold at 38%. I anticipate it dropping and the U.S. dollar getting hit further. Well, that about does it for today. Until tomorrow, good trading.